This video is for all those people who are thinking to come to France, whether for their bachelor's or master's. For anything of that sort, if you're a student, this video is for you. I would highly recommend you guys to do not book your accommodation through Studapart. And I will tell you guys why I am saying this. Okay, my name is Roman, and I am a master student at Schema Business School for Digital Marketing and Artificial Intelligence. I came to France on 27th of December, and I did my booking through Studapart. So Studapart is an official partner of Schema. Basically, there was a lot of narrative going on, how you could get into many scams if you are going to book your accommodation yourself. So I happened to book mine from Studapart because it was the partner with my business school, and I was thinking to book my accommodation through Studapart only because I did not wanted any hassle or anything. You know how it is for every student or their parent. They want a space for their child who can be in a safe environment and a very good accommodation and everything. Most of you who must have gotten any admission and they're sorting their accommodation right now as well. You guys have been like searching for accommodations. I was doing the same things, and I booked my accommodation around 1st of December so that I can showcase it to my visa application as well. This is where I'm going to stay, and I did it through Studapart. Cut to the chase. What happened? I came here on 27th of December after booking from Studapart, and the way the place was shown, it was not it was supposed to be. So when I booked the accommodation, the owner contacted me on WhatsApp, and I started having this conversation with him. And initially the first conversation went in a way where he was really welcoming. He was showcasing that he's a good person, but I was also happy, okay, the person is proactive, he's replying then and there. And but the first part, it was like that he was coordinating with me, and it was more about taking the booking, taking the deposit amount. Okay, so what happens when you come to France? You need to book your accommodation. So there are many ways to book your accommodation. You can get with any of the platforms like Studapart or other platforms like Zen in France and all of these. You can get your accommodation through them. So in this case, you need to give them a booking amount. You need to give them a guarantor's amount. So guarantee is also one thing which is very important to get a place here in France. So you can either take the guarantee from the platform, or some guarantor who is living in France takes your guarantee. So you can pay these people as well to take your guarantee, or you already have someone living here, you can contact them and they can be your guarantor. But for the people who don't have anyone living here, and at the same time they don't have someone whom they can pay and take this guarantee, they often go with these platform guarantees. Like in my case, I took the guarantee from Studapart, and I gave them the booking fees, and then I gave them the first month's rent. So when this rent went, and so this guy who was the landlord, he started talking to me on WhatsApp, and he was really adamant while I was being in India that I should pay the deposit. So when do you pay the deposit? You pay the deposit when you sign the contract. And when you arrive here, so you get a contract from your landlord. This contract is a very important document. Like pretty much you need it for everything here. You need it for your bank accounts, you need it for your CAF and your social security, everything, like the further steps you get into. Okay, so I came here, and like before even coming here, what had happened, like this person, he contacted me, and he was very adamant on the fact that I should pay him the deposit. I told him that I will pay him the deposit. I need to get my money from the education loan providers, and once I get that money, and let me come to France, let me be at the house, and let me sign the contract. Before signing the contract, I am not going to give you the money. And it was written as it was written in the Studapart's, like the information they had given. Okay, So but he was being very adamant, and I charged up a little bit at him that why are you being pushy about it. And then he went like, he suppressed a little bit. He said okay, he's not being pushy about it, and he's going to give me this person's number who already lives there. I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, it was a like shared accommodation. It was for 582 euros. And I had to book it to get my visa. And on Studapart, it was seeming like a very, very good accommodation. The area was good and everything. And he had given me this person's number. So I called this person, and I asked him, how to. So he told me to coordinate with him. He's not going to be there, and he will leave the contract with him, and I should sign the contract, and and he will tell me pretty much everything. So I called this person and I asked him, like, this person, the landlord, and did he give you like anything to give me? So he told me like he did not give him till now, he will give it to him, and all of those things, blah blah blah. Let's cut to the chase. But so now, after having this conversation, I go to the place. So the second bizarre thing that he had done was how the accommodation is just like a 10 minutes walk from Antibes station. So where I'm living is basically the area is called Antibes, and the accommodation was in Jolepa, which is like another area, and which is the accommodation was actually at the end of the area, like at the end of Jolepa. So I had to take like everything, my big suitcase, the bag, the backpack, and one handbag, and I had to drag it all the way because of this person's wrong information. I had to drag all of this for like 45 minutes. Somehow I went there. I asked people. People were super nice, and they were helping me out that how to reach to this particular place. And then this guy, he was seeing me like from the balcony. He gets down. The first experience I have with this guy, which is another tenant with whom he left my contract and everything, the keys. Oh my God, I entered the house and he started complaining. He started complaining like, this landlord is like this landlord is like that. And I was like, bro, I just came in. Let me just settle down. Let me just, put my stuff. Let me just let me just breathe. So he started, I fix these lights. It doesn't, do anything. It doesn't maintain the place and all of that. I said, like, why are you doing all of these things, and why are you living here if it's these many problems? So he said, okay, I'm going to leave like next month, and I'm sure he's still living there. I was like, okay, fine. That's not a problem. He gave me the key to my room and everything. He showed me, and then he came up with the contract. He said, this is your contract. You need to sign it. And the landlord, he told me that you'll sign it, and I need to help you with opening the bank account so that you can pay him the deposit amount. And he was only adamant on this one fact, that landlord only cares about his money. If you are giving him his money like on the right date at the right time, he's going to be like super chill with you. I was like, obviously I'm going to give him the money. What is he like thinking, that I'm just going to show up and I'm just not going to live I'm just going to live like that without paying him the rent? Who does that? But again, okay, that was also not a problem, but there was still the pressure, just sign the contract. Okay, what happened after that was a complete downhill. I get into the room. What I start seeing, there were like these really, really bizarre marks on the floor. Under the bed, it was like hair and beer bottles and caps and whatnot. And it was in a very, I would use the word filthy. It was a filthy space. The washroom did not have any lock. The washing machine was malfunctioning. And when I brought this up to the landlord, he simply said, everything is fine. I'm acting entitled, and he's not going to fix the place. And if I want, I should clean it up. Or the best he can do, he can ask the roommate, because the person who was living earlier, he was supposed to clean it, and he has no responsibility and no say in that. I asked him, why would I do that? And this is not what you showed me on Studapart. And you did not communicate it to me. Okay, the space is in this space. You'll get it cleaned or something. And I reached out to him that, are you going to get it fixed, or what is the way out? And he went furious. He started abusing me. He started, behaving in a very bad manner with me. So I brought it up to Studapart. I came on 27th for like from 27th till 1st, nothing happened because it was the holiday season. I had to live there in that filth at the same time. And then Studapart started to, react. They started to give me any response. So why I am saying it that you should not book it through Studapart, because they take the money, but they do not take the responsibility of any of these incidents. Yes, out of 100, I think it is going to be one or two incident, but their customer support is really bad. They only, once you had given them the money, that consider that money is not going to come back if anything of the sort happens with you. So on a daily basis, I was just getting them, like getting one message from them, because in their policies, it's like if landlord cancels it, if he wants the tenant to be out, then landlord has to pay some cancellation or something. And clearly my landlord, he did not want to pay that cancellation, so he was pressurizing me. And if I would have been canceling it, because I never wanted to cancel it, I always was asking relocation from Studapart. What they rather did, they were trying to convince me that I should live there and I should sign the contract. If I would have signed the contract, I would have been liable to pay the deposit as well. I had 1200 euros on the line, and on the top of that, they wanted me to sign the contract and give him another 600 euros, which was the deposit amount. And they were like, they are trying to fix a way. From 27th till 5th, nothing happened. On 5th, my school opened, and I brought it up to them that this is the scenario. Before this, like on the night of 4th of January, this guy, the landlord, he calls me up and he started abusing me. He was pressurizing me that I should leave the place. When I brought this up to Studapart, I showed them the chat. They were not accepting it. They were clearly supporting him, because obviously, like, if I also gonna go out, the another person is gonna come. They will again get the booking. They will again get that guarantee. They will again get the money from that accommodation. They were not delisting him. Cut to the chase, when he abused me, I reached out to one of my professors who had been really helpful. He immediately took action. He had returned to Studapart and the housing department of my school as well. And things started getting a little bit better from there. But from 5th, the whole resolution had come on 20th. On 6th, Studapart told me to leave the place. I left the place, and ever since then, I was moving places like with friends. These people had been really kind enough to, let me stay at their house. No conclusion. They said they were investigating. They said they are going to ask the landlord. They said they are going to ask him what happened. They were clearly not ready to see, even though I shared the proofs with them. After that, the in charge of the housing from my school had come into the picture, and then he started taking all these proofs from me, and then he started giving all these proofs to Studapart. Another person came from Studapart, but up till now, out of those 1200 euros, even though when this had resolved in a way, they had only given me the booking amount back. They had only given me the partial guarantee back. So out of those 1200 euros, no money in a way had come. And then my mother had to get involved. She had written them. They said out of a kind gesture, they are only going to return the half of the rent, because once you move into to someone's property, the land is already the rent is already given to the landlord, and the landlord was always denying that he never got any rent from Studapart. And when he said he's going to cancel it, he did not cancel it as well. So it was a really bad experience. It was something that should not happen with any of the students. If you are coming to France, if you are a student, whether you're coming for your bachelor's, for your master's, make sure that you don't get into such problems. Make sure you come here, you see the places. I have some of the friends who got their hotel accommodation done. If you have to show the accommodation for your visa, just book a hotel for a month or something, come here, go to the local agents. I would highly recommend that, and that is going to be really beneficial. Or contact your school, contact your university, ask them how they can help them in finding the right location where it's like a student residence. Like I'm living in a student residence now, which my school had helped me to find. And yes, they do help. But again, do not get into such problems. Do not book it from Studapart. Do not booking from Zen in France. In fact, I don't want you to get into any problems that I had. If you're even booking, make sure you talk to your landlord. Like some of the people, even like if a bad experience had happened with me, there's this another person who had come from India only. So the landlord is amazing. The lady did not even take guarantee, she did not even take the booking amount or anything. She just asked him about the booking. He said, okay, I can give you for 6 months. She was like, fine with it. She said, okay, that's fine, you don't have to. So if there are bad experiences, there are good experiences as well. I would highly recommend you guys that you guys should uh, this is also like the superficial, I've been telling you guys superficially like what had happened, because from 27th of December till like almost a month, I was in this situation where I was not able to focus on my studies, where I was not able to eat well, sleep properly in a way, because daily I've been going in this Tessel with Studapart, writing them emails. I must have written at least not like 20 or 30, at least like 70, 80 emails to Studapart, to my school, to this guy and that guy, and then hearing all these bad things from this guy who was the landlord. So this should not be the experience that you guys should get into. So make sure that does not happen. Do not book it through Studapart. I highly recommend you guys come here, find an agent or ask your school. That is going to be the best way. And if you guys want any help related to like if you want to know like what had happened and how you guys can find a good accommodation, you guys can let me know. I would be happy to help you guys. Thank you so much. That's about it. Bye bye.